Hey guys, Ezra here again with another video. Today we're going to do a quick update. Right now I'm at about 6,700 miles, and if you've seen my other videos, I did a 3,500 mile video, and if you want to see what my update was for then, feel free to look at my other videos. Actually, we're right now at about 6,800 miles, so basically more than doubled the mileage since my last update video. And since then, nothing really much changed. It's a Honda, pretty much. The only thing that's still giving me problems is the driver's seat. We're right now waiting for the oil light or the oil indicator to indicate it's time to change oil. So right now it is sitting at 30%, and I'm expecting to have it drop soon. But as of now, we're still waiting for the maintenance light. The maintenance computer calculates the amount of miles you drive, how long your trips are, and factors that into the life of the oil. So I'm guessing I take long enough trips where my oil change interval is fairly extended. I don't take it only on the weekends and only a couple miles at a time. I regularly drive this car, so I'm assuming this is why my oil intervals seem to be long, and it is what it is. If my car gives me problems because of the extended oil change intervals, that's Honda's problem. I'm going to get it serviced under warranty. Not a big deal. Anyways, the main purpose of this video, I'm going to go and cover things I am not a fan of in the Civic Type R, and there's a few. The first thing that I would like to address is the infotainment system. And the infotainment system is basically an Android tablet. You can install apps on it if you do certain things to it. It's basically an Android tablet inside the dash of your car. There's no physical knob for controlling the volume, and that is a huge that's not a huge problem, like a deal-breaking problem, but it is a pretty big annoyance, especially because the response of the whole system itself is fairly laggy. Now, there's a volume slider button, and when you slide it, it's not very responsive. It takes a while for it to adjust the volume, and three, there's no feedback. Like you can't really tell how much you're decreasing the volume just by swiping at it. It's very hard and pretty bad design, if you ask me, and I agree totally with the reviews. But like adjusting fan speed while you're listening to like something on Spotify using Android Auto, it takes a second for it to switch over to the fan speed control, climate control. It takes a split second, and then you have to wait for it to switch screens to the speed control, then touch what speed you want for the fans. And that's kind of an annoyance, because usually a lot of cars you can just press the button to adjust fan speed, like up and down. But this you have to do, it's like a two-step process, a three button process if you want to switch back to, the Android Auto screen. I'm hoping maybe in the future at some point with the 2019 Civic Type R, it has a faster computer in it. As far as I know, this is just a screen. I hope they standardize all the connections. You can just swap out the brains of the system for upgraded Android Auto. It can't be that much different. The Civic Type R 2019 can't be that dramatically different than 2018 model electronic wise. Second issue with this car I have is just some little things about the build quality. It's a little cheap feeling, despite this being one of the better hatchback interiors, better than the Focus RS, not as good as the Golf R from what I've been reading. But things like the steering wheel buttons, they're a little cheap feeling and clicky. Like, I'm not sure why they changed the design of these buttons in general. They're really clicky and have a really high plastic pitch. And as you can see or hear, it's very plasticky. And my parents have a newish 2012-ish CRV, and they still use the old style buttons where it's, you know, kind of a softer feedback and not as clicky and cheap feeling. The upside of the Civic Type R's buttons though is that it's a clear plastic button with the print and the text on the underside, so it's impossible essentially to wear the text off over time with use. It's not printed on the button, it's printed on the underside, and the button's clear so you can see text through the button. So you'll never wear it off with your thumb. Some other build quality issues is I've noticed the grab handle on the right side of the hatch when you lift it up has a little more flex than the left side handle. And how I found that out was when I was one-handed pulling the hatch down, the handle twisted so much that the plastic cover on the handle kind of got unclipped. So that was kind of unfortunate to learn. Now the third thing that is a little bit of an annoyance is the cruise control. Now the cruise control is weird where it doesn't adjust. A click up on the speed control doesn't increase the speed by 1 mile an hour. It actually increases it like a fraction of that. And it seems to do it, like my best measurement of it is a quarter of a mile an hour every time. So 4 clicks equals 1 mile an hour. It's such an obscure and random like increment. Like I don't know people that would ever adjust a quarter of a mile of an hour at any point in time. Like it just seems ridiculous. Another guess some people had on the forums was that it increases the engine speed by 250 RPM every time you click it. That again is just kind of a weird or random increment, and why would you go with engine speed? So that's another minor annoyance. The third thing that I'm not a huge fan of this car are these little tiny coat hangers behind me on the B pillar. Now I know this is something, from what I understand, is this something carried over from the European market. They, I guess, like to hang coats on their B pillar. One thing I have a problem with that is that a big coat like that any kind of coat is going to block your shoulder checks. Like if you look over your shoulder, that coat's going to be right there. Not a huge fan of that. And it doesn't have the traditional, at least in the US market, the coat hanger hooks on the grab handle. It doesn't have those. So it doesn't prevent you from hanging a coat there because you can just hang it on the handle. But disappointed to learn that it does not have a coat hanger hook on the rear grab handle like many cars do in the American market. I can't hang a coat or my suit, for example, on a hanger on that little tiny hook on the B pillar. Yeah, and that's pretty much it as far as annoyances go. If you have any other questions, leave a comment below. If you find this video helpful in your maybe search for a Civic Type R for yourself, leave a comment. Feel free to like and subscribe for more update videos on what it's like to own a Civic Type R and daily drive it. And daily experiences, what the service experience is like at a dealership. I'll be documenting all of that in the future when I get my oil change done. All right? Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.